Avi lost everything: his family, his career, his health, leaving him invisible to society, but not to Mossad. Unbeknownst to him, a secret doctrine was already classifying his pain, assigning cold metrics to his collapse. Welcome to a world where the agency's most valuable recruits are the ones most easily overlooked. How does a life torn apart become the seed of Israel's most clandestine operations? Avi's world contracted in a matter of weeks. The apartment emptied out after the divorce. His daughter's drawings vanished from the fridge, his wife's voice replaced by silence. The job he had held for nearly 2 decades ended with a single meeting. No warning, just a signature on a severance form and a box of personal items. By the end of that month, Avi's health began to fail. He stopped answering calls from friends. The routine medical checkups turned into a string of appointments, each one confirming what he already felt. Something inside him was broken. He drifted through days without purpose, sleep fractured by worry. The city outside moved on, indifferent. Avi's bank account dwindled, his debts mounting. He spent hours staring at the ceiling, unable to muster the will to leave the apartment. When he did venture out, the world seemed to blur around him, faces unfamiliar, conversations just out of reach. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, when repeated blows teach a person that nothing they do can change their fate. For Avi, the losses stacked up until even hope felt like a memory. Somewhere, his despair was being measured, catalogued, and filed away. Inside Mossad headquarters, every potential asset is reduced to a set of metrics: social severance, decision desperation, ego fragility. These are not just labels, they are the backbone of a system designed to identify those who have slipped through the cracks. Social severance measures the collapse of personal connections, family gone, friendships dissolved, no one left to call in the middle of the night. Decision desperation tracks patterns of reckless choices, selling possessions, taking out high-interest loans, or gambling with what little remains. Ego fragility is the most subtle, flagged by sudden swings in self-worth, impulsive confessions, or the inability to defend one's own boundaries. Investigative reporting by Ronan Bergman shows Mossad's psychological profilers maintain dossiers on candidates whose lives have unraveled. Surveillance logs are annotated with behavioral codes, each cross-checked against proprietary vulnerability profiles. Psychiatric notes, financial statements, even transcripts of overheard conversations are compiled into a digital file. The system is not looking for resilience. It is searching for the precise moment when a man like Avi is too broken to resist, but not yet too lost to control. Once the metrics line up, his dossier is flagged for grooming, and the machinery of contact begins to move. Avi's phone stopped buzzing weeks ago. The last friend who tried to visit was turned away by a doorman who claimed Avi had moved. His old colleagues found their emails bouncing back, each one landing in a digital void. A discreet car waited outside his apartment at odd hours, never honking, and the engine idled just long enough to be noticed. When Avi finally stepped inside the safe house, the world outside vanished behind reinforced doors and soundproof walls. The air felt filtered, the furniture sparse and impersonal. A single clock on the wall ticked in a room with no windows. Meals arrived on a tray, always at the same time, delivered by someone who never spoke. Every hour, Avi's routines were monitored and logged. The social severance index, a metric designed by Mossad psychologists, registered a perfect score. No calls, no visits, no traceable ties. Surveillance footage showed him pacing, talking to himself, reading the same page for hours. The safe house became both refuge and cage. In the archives of psychological research, the Stanford prison experiment stands as a warning. When people are cut off from the world and placed under silent authority, their sense of self unravels fast. Mossad's system does not leave that to chance. It creates the conditions, then waits for the subject to break. The benefactor's instructions arrived with unsettling calm. Avi was told to perform tasks that once would have disgusted him: falsifying records, lying to strangers, reporting on former friends. Each act chipped away at the lines he had drawn in his mind. On the surface, these were small transgressions: fabricate a signature, plant a rumor, sabotage a rival's job. But the pattern was relentless. The benefactor never issued threats, only reassurances that these actions were necessary. That responsibility rested elsewhere. In the language of psychologists, this is moral disengagement, a process mapped out by Albert Bandura. People justify what they once condemned by shifting blame, minimizing harm, or redefining right and wrong. Mossad's internal logs tracked Avi's progress with a metric called the moral disengagement meter. When Avi hesitated, the benefactor would reframe the task, saying, "You are helping the greater good. The target is not innocent. He is a threat." The meter ticked upward after each completed task. The meter climbed step by step. An expert voice says, "It is not that people lose their morals overnight. They rationalize step by step until the unthinkable becomes routine." By the time Avi's meter hit 70%, his resistance had faded. The next phase required him to cross a line that could never be uncrossed. Avi's final test arrives without warning. The benefactor leads him to a windowless room, fluorescent lights humming overhead. On the table, a dossier, a photo, and a pistol. The instructions are simple. Simulate the elimination of a traitor. The target is a man he has never met, chosen at random from a stack of faces. The rules are clear. Follow orders. No questions. No hesitation. The air thickens as Avi's hands tremble over cold metal. He hesitates, then pulls the trigger. The click echoes in the silence, a blank round, but the meaning is unmistakable. Across the world, psychologists have measured how far people will go under authority. In Stanley Milgram's experiments at Yale, nearly 65% of ordinary volunteers delivered what they believed were lethal shocks simply because a man in a lab coat told them to. Mossad's handlers watch for the same reflex, the moment obedience overrides conscience. As Avi completes the simulation, his betrayal threshold is logged. There is no going back. The last barrier falls. The man who entered the safe house is gone, replaced by someone who will follow any order, no matter the cost. For Mossad, this is the point of no return, the creation of a weapon, not a man. Avi's old life is erased in a matter of hours. His name vanishes from national registries, credit bureaus, and medical records, each deletion signed off by unseen hands. A new passport arrives, the photo barely recognizable, hair trimmed, jawline altered, a faint scar added for authenticity. The safe house routine tightens. Every morning, Avi is handed a set of clothes with the labels removed, a burner phone with a single contact, and a wallet filled with crisp bills in a currency he has never used. The apartment is stripped of anything personal. Even the clock from his first day is replaced by a digital one, reset to a different time zone. A handler reviews each forged document with clinical precision: birth certificate, work permit, driver's license, every detail matching the legend crafted for him. Avi rehearses his new signature until it feels natural. The final step is a database check to ensure the old identity triggers a dead end. By nightfall, Avi is a ghost. The man he was, the family photos, the tax records, even hospital files are wiped clean. Only the routine remains, a stripped-down existence awaiting orders. Avi's transformation is complete, but the cost is measured in silence. The doctrine calls this stage the operational ghost. No medals, no legends, just a name erased and a purpose assigned. Psychologist Judith Herman describes the aftermath as moral injury, when a person is forced to cross lines they once believed sacred. The wound does not heal with time. Instead, it festers in the quiet spaces between missions. An infographic appears. Side by side, two silhouettes, one labeled the broken, the other the hero. The hero is defined by loyalty, conscience, and ties that anchor him to a world he wants to protect. The broken is stripped of these. His attributes include isolation, obedience, expendability. The chart lists social severance, absolute, moral disengagement, engineered, betrayal threshold, crossed. In 2010, Mahmoud al-Mabhouh was found dead in a Dubai hotel room. The operation left no trace of its architects, only a body and a locked door. Cases like these raise a chilling question. Was the hand that carried out the act ever meant to survive the aftermath? Avi is now a ghost. He is both the instrument and the evidence erased. Today, intelligence agencies worldwide still exploit personal vulnerability as a recruitment tool, often in silence and always in shadow. As psychological warfare evolves, the line between justice and damage grows thinner. In a world built on secrets, the most broken among us remain the perfect weapon. What would you risk?